How do I feel when I'm playing the drums? It's special. I mean, it's hard to describe. You're giving yourself, your creative self, to the music that you're playing, and you're part of that music. You feel like you're contributing in your own way that nobody else can. You're playing something completely different than anybody else would be playing, and you're part of the music and you're part of the song.
Classical music I find to be a tremendous emotional high and an intellectual challenge and a challenge of skills. It's quite different, I guess, than science in that you're performing in real time. You get one shot. If you miss the note, you can't bring it back and do it again. Usually in science, you can run an experiment over and over until you get the results you want, or determine you can't get the results you want.
My father is an electrical engineer, and I used to go to the office with him occasionally, and I could see that the things he designed were used, the end result of the things he designed were used by people in their everyday life. And that connection between science and application is what made me interested in electrical engineering as a career.
Both with music and electrical engineering, you grow into that role. With music, you learn to play one note, you learn to play a second note, 3 notes, you put them together into a song. With electronics, you learn a few devices, how they work together. You put them into a circuit, you build them up into a system. In both, you're creating something that wasn't there before.
The thrill of discovery is really a high that is unlike anything else that I can think about, except perhaps the thrill of playing in a symphony orchestra and the sound that surrounds you.
One day in my probability class, teacher walked in and said, well, I've got this advertisement for some bright young mathematicians to come to work for Bell Labs. And I said, okay, I'll go try that, thinking that I was a bright young mathematician. And so I went for the interview, and I saw demonstrations here of speech recognition in its infancy. And I just fell in love with it, and I said, I have to do this. I knew nothing about the science, I knew nothing about it before I walked in the door. I knew nothing what Bell Labs even did. And I walked out of here saying, I have to have this job.
Both music and physics are extremely complex. And you take a single note in music, and then you add another one to it, and it's not just 2 notes added together, it's something more. And it's even more obvious when you take a chord. A whole chord has a feeling, it has an emotion associated with it. It's not just simply the addition of the notes that you put together. Physics is a bit the same way. They're complex problems. You start out with one fact and add another, and when you add those 2 facts together, in fact, you end up with interrelations that tell you something about what you're trying to study.
What I particularly like about music is I can use my imagination and my mind and my hands to create things. And unlike work, where I use the same tools to create things that have to be exact and work the same every time, in music I can do it differently each time, and it's always something new and something exciting that I can come up with.
Science is becoming more and more important in our lives. It's more important that we understand all these technologies, all the understanding that we do have about our world. It's going to become more important as time goes on. I feel bad for the people who don't understand the technologies and the science that are around. They're being left behind, and I think that's a very sad statement. The more you can know and the more you understand in science, the better off you will be as you get older.
In engineering, you improvise within structures. You have, for instance, a software architecture, a computer, and if you need to develop a program, you improvise within rules to create a program that does something. In music, you're improvising within a harmonic structure, a musical architecture, if you will. And within that structure, you're free to improvise and do what you feel at the moment. It's really an act of spontaneous creativity.
This is a wonderful time of history to be living for someone going into science. There are many, many opportunities, many of the research and engineering tools that are available to do remarkable things. There are many, many applications of science and technology that can benefit people, and not nearly enough have been tapped so far.
I think if kids take classes in math and science, even if they decide not to pursue that as a career, it's kind of like chicken soup. It couldn't hurt. It's definitely worth it. It's good training, teaches you a very good way to approach problem solving and thinking.
I don't think it's ever too late to get into science. I didn't get into it until I was around 17 years old. I wasn't captain of my math team or anything like that. And now, 15 years later, at Bell Labs, I'm having the time of my life.
Don't be afraid to pursue a goal that's a little bit off the beaten path, the road untaken, because later on, you can change your mind and take up a second career or a third career.
If you're a student interested in pursuing a career in math and science, I would say go for it.